Hi, my name's Grant Barnes, and for my final project, I will be building a small replica of a record player. The aesthetic I've chosen to go for is a 1960s to 1990s rock and roll aesthetic. So I want to kind of implement a bunch of different aspects from those time periods and bands from those time periods into this project. My main favorite bands are Van Halen, Queen, Pink Floyd, AC/DC, uh, just to name a few. So I want to kind of implement the things and kind of symbols that they're known for into this final project and just around the entire record player. For my moving part, I will have a motor that spins the record player, and on the front, there will be a dial to control the speed at which the record player spins. Ideally, if I have time, which is doubtful, I want to also incorporate and make it a Bluetooth speaker um, where the dial will end up controlling the volume as well. And I can hook my phone up and play music through it as it's spinning. For my specifications, the main one is really to just have the symbols of the bands and all the aesthetics be recognizable, especially to those who know the bands themselves. Um, just as someone who knows that myself, seeing um, artifacts or things that have those plastered on them, like posters and stuff, really draw my eye and make me kind of want to know more about it. The moving component would be the next main specification I have. Um, Without that, it really doesn't have a record player feel. It will kind of just sit there and um, just be an object and not really have that moving part to draw people in. Um, Pops of color are also really something I want to incorporate. So maybe some LED lights, just to really highlight certain aspects of the design as well. Um, the volume knob I already mentioned in number 4, and 5 I want to have it have a lid that I can open and close. Um, that will end up just protecting all the components I have on the surface of the record player itself. Time is really my main constraint. I have a kind of a lot to do in the next couple of weeks, so that's one of my main constraints and something I'm really focused on. Um, my budget I want to be under $100 ideally. If I have to go over, that's fine. But that's like a kind of best case scenario. Uh, I also want the project to be kind of lightweight. I don't want to have to haul something super heavy around. Um, just being able to move it around, especially if it's a Bluetooth speaker, is something that's important to me. I also want to 3D print the base of it, so I need to take a workshop in order to be able to access the 3D printers. Is another constraint. Um, I'm also constrained on the LEDs and the motors. I'm doing those with Arduino. That's something I've kind of tested around a little bit and worked toward figuring out how to wire those circuits up and write the code for that. But it's something I still need to lock down and really make sure I get it right. So right now I have a basic CAD model of the design I kind of want to go for. Um, Here's the two pictures of the lid open and closed. I'm not sure if I want to go with the lid clear or not. It was kind of more just to be able to look through and see what's on the inside. The bricks on the front are to represent Pink Floyd's The Wall album. And I wanted that to actually be like textured in on the design and really have that feel rather it just been painted on and you get to actually feel the texture of it. I still need to add the needle for the record player, and definitely some of the designs on the outside, but that's something I kind of planned on doing outside of CAD. Not necessarily the needle, but the decorations on there. So for completing this in time, April 9th is when I have a workshop set up to get the 3D printing lab at the ITLL. From there, by April 11th, I want to have the CAD model done and printed and have it in person and begin kind of testing it out. Um, After that, within a few days, I want to have parts ordered and delivered, so I can begin kind of messing with those and making sure I can get the circuits right. And ideally have the whole construction of the main um, electronic assembly done within a week of getting the parts, so about April 20th. And from there, just having a couple days, around a week, to really focus on my aesthetic, and make sure that the outside of the record player and everything looks good and is really recognizable. Hopefully have that done by the 23rd and give myself a couple days up until the 26th to kind of problem shoot and figure things out, and maybe even begin on the Bluetooth speaker implementation. For my fabrication process, basically follows that timeline. Um, Getting complete measurements on the internet of the parts I will be using and incorporating those and finishing the CAD, so that I know all the parts will fit, especially the knob and the motor. Um, from there, I want to build the circuit on a breadboard, make sure that the components are working properly and I get the code working for the Arduino properly. Um, and from there, once I have that working, basically just making a complete circuit soldered together that's structurally sound and compact to be able to actually fit inside the housing. But before I end up mounting that inside, I want to really knock down the aesthetics on the outside, especially because I'll be moving the box around and potentially breaking that circuit if I were to mount it early. But once I'm done and happy with the aesthetics, I plan on mounting that circuit inside. And from there, just kind of running tests and making sure it works properly and getting ready for the presentations. And that's really all I have. So thank you very much.